What is happening, everyone? Another experimental show here. It's a beautiful day. It was a beautiful day in the shop, and this was not that successful, folks. But it was a good old-fashioned experimental show, and that's what Michelle keeps reminding me. That's what they're for, experimentation. And probably I'd like to try next time we do these, another one of these, and see if I can dial it in a little bit. It was the first attempt. You'll see at some point here during the video the book that this idea came from. Michelle showed me a book from when she was at Pilchuck, which is kind of like a summer course, really glass and art heavy. I don't know the word for it, where you go for a few weeks, you take a course and you learn some serious stuff. So they had 2 or 3 really famous glass blowers there, and they had an artist take notes and do really nice drawings of all the demonstrations they did. Michelle got that, and she kind of colored in all the drawings and then passed it off to me just a couple weeks ago. And I was browsing through it and saw this and thought it would be really cool. This is Michelle's heating up some bar color, some purple. I picked up a big old chunk of yellow bar color, which, if you're new to the show, this is really dense. This is one of many styles to work with colored glass. Purple's pretty expensive. It's got manganese in it. Yellow has cadmium in it, and it's not quite as expensive, but much stiffer. So I thought that the stiffness and thinness, by the way I was going to do this, wouldn't really make a difference, and I don't think it did. I think I just made the little user error situation. But I've got yellow on the end of the pipe. I'm getting it long. I'm having it connected to the pipe. We're going to be pulling some cane here, and it's not twisted cane. This is going to be for marinis, which marinis are when you pull out something really dense with color, chop it down into a bunch of little small, maybe like little pea-sized flat pieces, and they've got a design on the inside of them or a layering of glass so that you can add them to, a lot of people put them on vases or mugs. It's color splotches of beauty. But the idea behind this was, and you'll see in the book, it's a spiral, and you look at it, the flat side of the marini, the inside of the long strand will be a beautiful purple and yellow curl all the way down to the center. That was the idea. I thought they would work really cool for the slugs that we make, that we use all marini eyes on, and we usually just have a black core and some different designs and different bright colors, so they look super cool and unique. But this would be like a dazed and confused slug, maybe a little too much slime or something, but that was the idea. In retrospect, whenever you experiment with something, I want to keep it small. I don't want to use a ton of color. If it doesn't work out, I don't want to waste it. So I did it tiny, but after the fact, and you'll see the way it turned out, I think in doing this maybe 3 times as big as this and a lot longer and a lot thinner, I would actually have the spiral in there. Because at this length, and I do actually still in a second pull it out and lengthen it out a little bit more. Whoa. It just didn't really have enough length to curl up and look like a nice spiral. It kind of just got chubby, and maybe now I'm thinking about it, in the end, the fact that it was yellow and purple did make it a little more difficult to pull out even though it was kind of evenly swirled up together. So maybe I'll try different colors on the next one. But here Michelle goes. She's going to show you the book. There's a lot of beautiful drawings in here. Really cool Italian style glass work. I was like, yeah, it's right over there. I was just trying to tell her where it was. She hadn't looked in this book in a long time, but when you see the picture, it's a really cool picture, and Slugs just called my name instantly. There it is on the very top of the page. I had to get reminded of how to do the curl here. I don't know what those quotation marks were for, but that's the move right there. So it's kind of just like a long tongue, and you got to curl it up. And just like anything in glass, you got to have the right tool for the job, because you just grab it with the tweezers and try to start curling it, it's going to have some serious tweezer marks on it. So, but at first, and Michelle had mentioned, I think it should be longer, and so I tried to, without messing up the flat, nice, even shape I have of it here, I tried to pull it out a little bit longer, chop a little off the end, and get it ready to be curled right up. And then this was kind of like a 4 or 5 step process curling it up. I just wanted it to be smooth and I wanted it to be nice. Everything was lined up good. I was in really high spirits here. I had high hopes for the success rate of this project. But you know how it goes. That's glass blowing. But if you guys are new to the show, if you just found this or ran into the experimental show, we do multiple different shows. We stream on Tuesdays from 6 to 8 live on Facebook and YouTube. And we do custom orders, and we have a lot of shenanigans. Look at how satisfying that little curl was. And we do some really cool stuff. We're on show 217, I believe, or 218. The numbers are blending together. But we do one a week, and that's a blast. Then we do an annealer reveal. So this is actually one of the only glass pieces that we don't have to cool down overnight. Most glass products, if they're thicker than about the size of a pea, you've got to cool them down very slowly overnight so they don't cool too fast for their own good and crack or even explode themselves apart. So when you pull something out like this, we're not going to put it in the annealer, but most of our Tuesday shows, in fact, all of our Tuesday shows, we have an annealer reveal at 3 p.m. on Thursdays. So I'll pull out all the pieces from the box and kind of go over what was made and what the deal was and talk about all the shenanigans that went down. And that's cool. And then this is our experimental show, and we do one of these. These come out every Sunday at 3 p.m. and it's a pre-recorded show, so we can voice over it and focus on what we're doing a little bit more, because the experimental show, I mean, it's already something to be blowing glass and talking to people, and that's something we love doing. We're at the Renaissance Festival. It's there's a lot of beauty in the performance of glass, so we like to show that off. But the experimental show can get frustrating if you're trying to figure something out, and I'm trying to talk with Michelle and get it filmed. It's just difficult, so we need all our brain power on it. So there I'm kind of remembering, this was another move, and actually Michelle, one of her recent experimental shows, did an axis switch, where we made a mug out of it, but this is, it's called switching the axis, where we're going to take this and I'll line it up as best I can and get it smooth and nice. And then normally when you punty something up, you flip it onto another pipe, it comes straight onto the front, so it's in line with the other pipe, and you knock it off and then you fix up the other side. For this case, since we want to get the spiral the way that we want the spiral, we're going to punty it up from the side onto that piece of yellow that looks orange right now because it's so hot. So we'll come from the side and we'll knock that off, flipping it 90 degrees, I believe, is what that would be. And then, yeah. See, that's when I'm starting to realize things are looking a little bit hairy. I just said pretty much with no words, sign language special, that it needed to be longer. And when I folded it over, I could tell the purple kind of stuck to the sides. There wasn't enough curls for it to actually be a spiral. It could be like a cute little dollop of a spiral, but we want to like fold it over like 6 times and roll it up like a fruit roll up, So there's Michelle just tasting the glass. But she's making a punty, and the reason she was holding it up and she was doing that, she was waiting for the glass to droop down onto the pipe, because you don't want to have any clear on the tip of the pipe. The colors all melt at different temperatures, so when you're pulling cane, if you've got 1/8 of an inch of clear off the end of the pipe between the color and the pipe, it's not going to pull at the same strength or length as the rest of the color will. So sometimes you have a stiff color on there and it'll just pull off like a raindrop right off the pipe, and you're not even able to stretch it out even at all. Sometimes you have a softer color and then it sticks on there and pulls out the opposite way like a long pointy stick. I hope that's making sense to you guys. I do love watching the comments after the fact on these. We let them go for about a week and we kind of review the comments and see what's going on. So if you guys are new and fresh to the show, if you just stumbled across this video, let us know how you found it. Let us know what you think of it. We've come a long way since 2020 when we started streaming here in the shop. Family-run business out of Dearborn, Michigan. But let us know what you're thinking. Let us know if you have questions. There's a lot of people that watch the show that have a lot of information after watching about 218 shows to know and to answer some of these questions. But we do love the engagement too, and that helps us grow. That's what we're here to do. Represent the glass community. I cut off a little bit of clear on the end there for the same reason I was just talking about on the pipe, so that it doesn't pull off strange. And then this is all about, and I think this is partly where I had some issues too, I took 3 or maybe even 5 heats here of shaping it, cooling it down even, fixing up the tip, shaping it, heating it back up, building up the heat back into the core, and trying to get both of those widely different melting temperatures in the color as equal as possible. Meanwhile, Michelle made what's called a post. This is what we're gonna stick kind of like a punty onto the opposite side, and we'll each pull in separate directions to lengthen this out as long as we can. This is different from pulling cane too. When we do candy cane, you see us twisting. We use a drill, or you just do the forearm burner special and just twist the heck out of the pipe, and you're walking backwards, twisting as much as you can. This is different because we don't want to twist it anymore. We have the spiral on the inside, or so I thought, and we just want to grab it, pull it, and we want to flip together. Right here is when I noticed, look at all the clear pulling off the end of the pipe. I was like, uh-oh, we've got some sort of scenario going on here. They're evened out a little bit, but then as soon as I handed it off to Michelle, look how thin it is on her end and how thick it is on my end. It's not looking pretty. So, but it's all about temperature control. It's about consistency, walking backwards nice and smooth. The glass is still totally floppy. Like if we came back together, we could jump rope with that glass right now. It's like candy. But there's the flip. You start to see the color change in the thinner spot. Start to see my face change because I'm getting really disappointed. And it's starting to stiffen up now. Right about this point, I told Michelle I'm gonna start pulling. It's paper thin down there. I mean, it's way too thin. You can't use that for anything, so I was already disappointed. You see the yellow on the right, you see the purple on the left there. And I told her I was gonna start yanking it, try and pull some of that thickness out of the side on my end. And then that's it. Stiffens right up. Can't jump rope with that anymore, but you can take, I just got some pliers there, but just by touching the glass with cold metal, it'll just pop right off. I don't even think Michelle used anything because it was so thin, it just popped off. But boom, there that pops. I was like, oh, what's the spiral look like? And we looked at it, and it was a yellow blob surrounded by purple. She said, show it to you guys. I already dunked it in the water, but you could see that's not really a spiral. Thumbs down. What are you gonna do? Experimental show. And that's why we hope that you guys share the show and spread the word, because we're not making any money on something like that. It's just experimental, and it's fun for us, and we have a good time, and we hope you guys are learning as well. So there's definitely the pros for it. But glass blowing is such an expensive medium. It's tough when you go through situations like that. But here's the final result. We're gonna try and start doing kind of like annealer reveals for these, and we'll toss them at the end of the video. Here is the glass fishing rod that I made on this show. Who would have known? I didn't chop it up because I thought that was kind of funny, and it just looked pretty cool. There's your yellow line on the side where it didn't connect all the way through, and there's the purple. I'll show you the cross section of it here. There you can see there's really actually absolutely no spiralage in there. So one might say it's a total fail, and that's totally cool. That's what it's about. But I hope you guys learned something through that video. And yeah, spread the word. Let us know what you're thinking, what you want to see, what you might think would be a really cool experimental show. But follow us on our social media channels. You guys, tune in for the 6 o'clock show every single Tuesday night on YouTube and Facebook. It's a really good time. Get to hear us live in person. We have a blast with each other. The whole crew's on deck. And spread the word. We appreciate you guys, and really looking forward to everything that's coming down the line because we love what we do. Thank you very much.